Welcome to the 2023 Hooligans League playoffs. I am League Commissioner Gabe. I am here to tell you all about how the playoffs will work this year. Most of you already know this format. It's pretty easy to kind of comprehend, but if you have any questions at any time, ask me or ask anyone else in the chat that might know. I have a script next to me, so I'm going to keep looking back and forth between it just to make sure I'm giving you the right information, just because I had it all jotted down. I wanted to put it in a video format so you didn't have to go and read an entire document just for no fucking reason at all. So, here is how the playoffs work. The 8 teams that made the playoffs, you are now out of running for the league punishment. You will not have to take the SAT this season. So that's a good thing. So the seeding is based on league records. So of course, Natalie, since you have lost only one game, you will be the number 1 seed. And it is based on what you would see in the NBA playoffs. So very simple format. The 1 seed plays the 8 seed, 2 plays the 7, 3, 6, 4, 5. You know how it works. It's pretty simple process. So Natalie, that means you would play the last team in, which I believe was Matt Jones, and I'll figure that out later. This format will only change if a new format is put up for vote for motions and it goes through. So that's going to be the process, depending on whether or not it's changed in the future. If you lose in the playoffs, you are placed in a different consolation bracket from the 4 teams that did not make it. So it's called the winner's consolation bracket. And that basically means you're out of the running for any prize money, well, except if you get 3rd. But you don't have to do the punishment. There's still no league punishment for you. You made the playoffs. That is off the table for you. So in that case, you would climb the ladder to 3rd place. If you get 3rd place, obviously there's prize money involved. I'll get to that in just a minute. So the 3rd place winner receives their initial deposit back. So that deposit was $20. If you get 3rd place in our league, so you win the highest ladder matchup in the winner's consolation bracket, you receive $20 back as a 3rd place prize. Our 2nd place winner, who will be the loser in the championship match, which will be week 17, trying to avoid week 18 matchups since a lot of teams like to sit their players if they've already made the playoffs and clinched a spot. 2nd place will receive $60 as the 2nd place prize. 1st place, whoever is the champion of the league this year, will receive $100 and the Hooligans League Champion Trophy. And that is still in the works. I'm trying to work that out. So, the 4 teams who did not qualify for the playoffs, I'm sorry to say you're out of the running for any money involved, but you do have a motive. Avoid the league punishment. Unless you truly want to do the SAT, then first of all, no tanking, because that's against the rules. But still, you can find creative ways to try and take the SAT if you actually need to. So, try to avoid last place, as well as the league punishment. So, for competitive balance, obviously the way it works is by league standing after the playoffs are done. That is the reverse order of the first round of our draft next year. Then that's also depending on if there's any tanking rules or regulations that have to take place, or teams decide not to participate next year. That's all up for interpretation at the time of the draft next year. But how it would normally work is the same way it has in previous years. Last place, the person that does the league punishment, gets to pick first in the draft next year. And then second to last is second, so on and so forth. You all know how it works. So last place will be determined by who is the loser in the 11th place game come round 3, which will be week 17. And that's very similar to the winner's consolation bracket. It's a ladder system. So as it stands right now, as you might have guessed, there are 2 ladders. One for the higher matchup, so that's the 9 and the 10 seed, and there's one for the lower matchup, which is the 11 and the 12 seed. So as you might expect, the 9 and 10 seeded teams, which I believe are Ryan and Eddie, already have a upper hand in avoiding the league punishment. The best way to just avoid the league punishment altogether is just come round 3, do not be in that bottom leg. Do not be in the bottom part of the ladder. Because if you're in that ladder game at the end and you lose, you are last place in the league. So that's something you want to avoid. Let's see if there's anything that I missed. Just making sure real quick. Okay, yeah, so last thing, obviously, as a reminder, if I see any tanking or collusion taking place, I've already said it in the past, It's not fun. It's not cool. Trying to make this like a fun thing to do. It doesn't have to be super serious, but I just want to make sure it's not fucking anyone else over. So if I see any collusion or taking place, I might put it up for vote based on regulation, but all winnings that might have been gained through that would be forfeited. And if you happen to get last place of it, you would still do the league punishment, but you will be placed at the back end of the draft next year. And obviously, if you're not participating, I mean, no reason to think about that. There are two reasons why I'm not going to be fining people. One, that money would just go to me, and that's cheap. Two, I don't have the legal regulations to do that, so that's illegal. I am not cheap, and I am not a rule breaker, so I'm not going to be doing that. No reason to fine people any money. That's cheap and stupid and illegal, so not going to be doing that. So yeah, that's basically all you need to know about the playoffs. Pretty simple format. If you win, you keep on going forward in the playoffs. If you lose, you're out, but you might not be as out as the last 4 place teams. So to those who are in the playoffs officially, welcome and good luck. And to those who are in the bottom 4, don't lose.